Hi, I was actually going to do a different video tonight and I spent the entire day, hours, prepping it, making graphics, so it'll still happen, but I just finished Majesty and I've got some things to say. Hello and welcome back to Katie Can't Read. I'm Katie, I can read, and that's why we're here. I like to talk about books and I'm sorry for lying to you. Please don't unsubscribe because of the lies. Okay, so as I was saying in my cold open, I've been reading The American Royals duology by Katharine McGee, and I didn't have any expectations going into this. I picked up these books at my end of the month Barnes & Noble trip because I read the back and it was all about royal drama in an alternate universe, and I said, hey, that's my jam. I love royal drama in an alternate universe. But I was so thoroughly disappointed with these books. First, let's do a little non-spoilers for people who haven't read these. I encourage you to read anything even if I don't like it, because maybe you will like it. Maybe it will be your favorite book, and that's okay. A lot of my favorite books are things people do not like, so that's totally fair. I respect your opinions if you respect mine. So, American Royals tells the story of an alternate universe where George Washington, after the Revolutionary War, had decided to be king and not a president. And so America has a monarchy in 2019-2020. It's told between 4 point of views. Beatrice, the heir to the throne, Sam, her younger sister, who considers herself the spare, Nina, Sam's best friend, who got tangled up in royalty and doesn't really like the drama of it all, but is super supportive of her best friend and wants to stay in it, and Daphne, who will do anything to be a part of the royal family. I didn't mind the first book. I gave it 3 out of 5 or 6 out of 10. And I thought it was fine. It was not going to be my favorite book of all time. I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it. I was like, yeah, it's fine. It was a good story. It had good love in it. I enjoyed the romances. There was some fun moments in it. It was a little bit dramatic. It was like a little bit of a soap opera. It was kind of fun. And I was really excited to get and read Majesty, which came out like a week ago. Majesty is the sequel. It's told through the same points of view, and it takes place at the end of it. We're gonna slip into some spoilers now, okay? Because, oh, sorry. I gave Majesty a 1.5 out of 5 stars and a 3 out of 10 stars, which is so rare for me to rate a book that low, because I usually find something I love in every book, which the only reason it even got that half star that put it above 1 star is because I like one part of the way it ended. I did not like this. I'm surprised I almost DNF'd it at page 300 out of 370. That's how much I didn't like it. But I said, hey, you only have 70 pages left. That'll take you less than an hour. You can do this for 1 more hour just to see how it ends. I'm glad I ended it because I got to see how it ended, but I was close. I was so close. Now I'm going to slip into spoiler land. So, American Royals ended with the death of the king, which I should have found shocking, but I didn't. I knew it was coming from the first time he was on page. It was just it made too much sense. It made too much sense that the king should die and and Beatrice should become the queen immediately. It made sense. I wasn't mad that I figured that out. I was like, yeah, it's fair, makes sense. Read too many books. So that's where Majesty picks up. And now we're going to talk mostly about Majesty, which I will say is the severely most disappointing book I think I've read in a long time. And I really hated it. I almost DNF'd this 3 times, but I had to see how it ended because I was just so curious to see what they would do. But I almost DNF'd it. I think I skimmed the last 150 pages because I was just sick of it. I read like exclusively dialogue and keywords. Majesty picks up 6 weeks after American Royals leaves off, after the king has died, and my girl Beatrice is now the queen. She's the first official queen of America. There has never been a female monarch. There's only been male monarchs and queen consorts. She's the first official queen, and it's about her struggle in the just outsiderness of how it feels to be standing in her father's footsteps, and how will the country respond to a female queen. And I will say my number 1 issue with this book is I like a good romance, okay? I really do. I really like a good romance. And American Royals set up 4 excellent romances that were passionate and sweet and well developed, and that made sense for each of the characters. It fit what they wanted. In Majesty, she decided, let's shake it up. Let's break them all up and give them all new partners. No. The only new partnership I cared about was Marshall and Sam, because they were actually good together. He brought out what was best in Sam and she brought out what was best in him, and they understood each other in a way that no one else understood either of them. It made sense for them to be together. She spent so much time developing Beatrice and Connor's relationship to the point where I was like rooting for them. I was like, yes, yes, only for her to decide, I'm going to actually get married to Teddy and we're gonna break it off. So Connor leaves. He resigns his position as guard and moves back to Texas. And so then she starts pursuing this engagement with Teddy and she falls in love with him. My biggest argument is that these girls fall in love so fast. They fall in love in 3 chapters with no development. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Every single romance was broken up, and every single romance was, except for Marshall and Sam, was replaced with a worse romance. Okay? I hated all the new romances. I hate them. I hate them all. I really hated that Daphne is one of the single worst characters I have ever read. I hated her so much that it burned. Like every time I turned a page and it was her point of view, I would genuinely groan. She does so many terrible things throughout these books that every time you turn a chapter, she does another terrible thing. Never learns from these mistakes. Even after her best friend gets put into a coma on her accord. And I get it. I get the whole ambitious girl thing. I'm an ambitious gal myself. But, oh my God, she does so many terrible things. And you know what happens? She gets exactly what she wants in the end. She ends up getting a promised future with the prince that will lead her to eventually be a princess. I hate that. I hate that so much that it genuinely frustrates me. I didn't like Nina's growth. Nina was such a strong character in American Royals. She knew exactly what she wanted. She knew exactly who she was. And Nina got, I don't know, barely any chapters in Majesty. And all of her chapters were her swooning over Ethan or talking about how in love she was with Ethan. And I'm like, girl, you're stronger than him. You deserve better than him. And I can't believe it. I literally can't believe it. I hated it. I wanted so badly to like this book. I'm so sorry. My biggest complaints: when Daphne got her way. She did not deserve to get her way. She deserved to get thrown in a dungeon and fed to lions. Like, she was so terrible, but she got her way and everything worked out for her. I want to fist fight her behind a 7-Eleven at 2 o'clock in the morning. The second thing I hated most in this book was that every single character fell in love so fast. There was no build-up. There was no anticipation of this romance for them. It was one chapter, they meet. Second chapter, they go on a single date. The third time their point of view shows up, they're literally confessing that they're in love with them. And these chapters take place in the span of about a week. I'm just saying, that is genuinely ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. You don't fall head over heels in love with someone in the span of a week, and especially not 3 out of our 4 narrators. Love a little bit of like an insta love if it's well developed. I don't need it to be slow burned. I don't need that. I prefer it, but I don't need it. I'm totally okay with a couple getting together in about 100 pages. Totally fine with it, especially in a romancy book like these. But falling in love undeveloped in 3 chapters doesn't make sense to me. Not at all. If there had been more to it, absolutely, totally would have bought it. But I didn't buy any of these romances at all. I didn't buy it. And like, the girls' point of views about the boys was not strong and romantic enough for any of them. None of them seemed even remotely attracted to them. The third thing I hated is there's so much unnecessary drama. Not every single chapter needs to have major drama happen. Not every single chapter. I can't stand that. And most of it was girl on girl drama, which I hate. I hate girl on girl drama so much. I also hate relationship drama, and when it wasn't girl on girl drama, it was relationship drama. The fourth thing I hated was that it was a literal love cluster mess. I hate a love triangle. I hate them so much. I've yet to read a love triangle I enjoy. And the way that there were like 3 love triangles that were all intertwined was stupid to me. It was like a love web, and it was so overwhelmingly annoying and so like teen drama to me that I just couldn't stand it. Now let's talk about the 3 things I did actually like about this book. The things that kept me reading when I really just wanted to drop it. I wanted to drop it in the fire and end and be like, goodbye. The 3 things I did like. Number 1, I liked Sam and Marshall. I'll say it, I liked them. They brought out what was best in each other, and they were kind of sweet. I thought they were good together. They were both the party prince and princess, and it worked. The second thing I loved Sam and Bee's sisterhood. I am an older sister with a sister who's my parallel opposite, which is what Bee and Sam are. Story of them refinding their relationship and forging this strong sisterly bond was so powerful and something we don't see a lot in stories that it was really sweet for me to read. And just how they're constantly looking out for each other even when they're fighting. It felt really good. And the third and final thing I really liked was, the one reason I was glad I finished it, was the way that Bee comes into her own at the very end. When she decides, I'm going to cancel this wedding, I'm going to call it off, but not because I don't love you, but because I need to take this at my own pace. I need to show them that a woman can run this country without a man's help. Feminism. That I can do this on my own. I know I can. I've been training for this my whole life. Let me do it on my own. I said, yes, queen. That's what you are. You're the queen. You rule the country and you deserve the best. And she said, I'm going to give myself the best. I deserve this. So, props to you, Queen Bee. I think the end was really well done with Bee. Everyone else could care less. Oh wait, 4th thing I liked. Sorry, thought of another thing. I like that Sam gets to go on the royal tour that Beatrice was supposed to go on with her new husband. And she decides to take Nina and they can be best friends because their friendship was a great part of these books. Really well done. I do understand that I'm sure Katharine McGee was going for some kind of what you want isn't always what you need in life sort of story. And I'm sure if I were to analyze this for a literature class, that would be the theme, is what you want is not always what you need. Stick it out to find what you need. But it wasn't handled well. In general, wasn't handled well. Sorry. Genuinely sorry. But I didn't like it. Thank you for watching this passionate, terrible rant. If you liked these books, I'm sorry I didn't like them. I tried. I really did try. I'd be more than willing to talk about them though. See why you liked them. I'm not going to fight you. We're all entitled to our own opinions. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please stick around for more bookish content, and I'll see you in the next chapter.